Hey guys, today we're talking about division Tracheophyta, which is a division or the most advanced division under kingdom Plantae. Now this division is divided majorly into two further divisions, which are namely Pteridophyta and Spermatophyta. So we'll be talking about each of these divisions under this division Tracheophyta, and we'll be talking about their characteristics. Let's start with Pteridophyta, which are the ferns. Ferns are the major group of organisms found under this division. One is that their body is divided into true root, true stem, and true leaves. So the organisms found under the ferns, these are the organisms found under Pteridophyta, have true roots, true stems, and true leaves. Another characteristic of the pteridophytes or the ferns is that they have well-developed vascular bundles comprising of xylem and phloem. One major characteristic of all the tracheophytes, why they are classified as tracheophytes, is that they are vascular plants. So the pteridophytes, being a vascular plant, contains vascular bundles that comprise of xylem and phloem. Another characteristic is that their underground stem is rhizome. So their underground stem is called rhizome. Their means of reproduction is by spores. That's another characteristic. They reproduce asexually by the use of spores. Then they also reproduce sexually by the fusion of gametes. Another characteristic is that their plants are mostly terrestrial, while a few of them are aquatic. Most of the ferns are terrestrial, while just some of them, a very few of them, are also aquatic, could also be found in water. Also, the ferns or the pteridophytes exhibit alternation of generations, just like the bryophytes that have the dominant and the less dominant generation. We have the alternation of generation here, having the sporophyte and the gametophyte. So another characteristic is that they have an asexual reproductive organ called the sori, and their sexual reproductive organ is called the prothallus. Since they can reproduce both sexually and asexually, their structure for asexual reproduction, one of the structure is called sori, and for sexual reproduction they have a prothallus. Now let's talk about the other division under Tracheophyta, which is division Spermatophyta. Now, these organisms are seed-bearing plants. The plants under this division are seed-bearing plants. So that's why they are called Spermatophyta. Sperm meaning seed. So that is one major difference between this division and other divisions, is that they are seed-bearing. Another one is that they have well-developed vascular bundles. So the plants here have well-developed vascular bundles. Another characteristic is that they are well adapted to terrestrial habitats, and they are the most successful, or they are seen as the most successful land plants. Now this division can also be divided into two. We could have Gymnospermatophyta, we could also call it Coniferophyta, and we have Angiospermatophyta. These are the two major divisions under division Spermatophyta. So let's take each of these divisions one after the other and talk about their characteristics. Now the characteristics of the plants found under division Gymnospermatophyta is that one, they are large plants with well-developed vascular bundles that have true roots. They are also plants that have true roots, true stems, and true leaves. So they are large plants, and they have well-developed vascular bundles. Also, they have true roots, true stems, and true leaves. Now, their leaves are green in color, and they are small and needle-like. The leaves are small, and they look almost like needles. And now, the seeds under this division are naked. That is why they are called gymnosperms. So they have naked seeds that are born in cones. And the reason their seeds are naked is that they do not have ovary and fruits. So the seeds are found inside cones. Now let's talk about the other division under the spermatophyta, which is angiospermatophyta, or the angiosperms. Now the angiosperms possess true flowers. They possess actual flowers for sexual reproduction. So the angiosperms have true flowers. Another characteristic is that they have a well-developed true root, well-developed true stems, and well-developed true leaves. So the angiosperms have well-developed parts of the plant. They also have well-developed vascular bundles. Another characteristic is that the seeds and the fruits are produced after fertilization, and the seeds are enclosed within the ovary. So the seeds in this division are produced after fertilization, and these seeds are now enclosed in the ovary. Now, some of the organisms found under this division, most of them actually are terrestrial, but some could be aquatic. So we have terrestrial plants and aquatic plants under this division. Now, this division can further be divided into two major types, which are the monocot and the dicot. So let's talk about the characteristics. Let's compare and contrast the characteristics of the monocot plants and the dicot plants. Now, the monocot plants, which we call the Monocotyfedoneae, and the dicot plants, which we call Dicotyledone, have various characteristics that we can compare and contrast. Now, the leaves in the Monocotyledoneae have parallel veins, which means the leaves in the monocotyledons have parallel leaf veination, while the leaves in the Dicotyledoneae have network veins, which means the leaves in the Dicotyledoneae have network leaf veination. Another one is that the flowers of the monocotyledons are generally dull in color, while the flowers in the dicotyledons are generally bright in color. Now, in the monocotyledons, the embryo has one cotyledon, which means it has one seed leaf. That's what we mean by one cotyledon. While the dicotyledon have two seed leaves, as the name implies. So the monocotyledon, as the name implies, mono, one, dicotyledon, di, which means two. So that is where the name Monocotyledoneae and Dicotyledoneae is even gotten from. Monocotyledons have one seed leaf, dicotyledons have two seed leaves. Now, the size of the cortex in the monocotyledons is narrow, while the size of the cortex in the dicotyledons is wide. Now, the root system in the monocotyledons is a fibrous root system, while the root system in the dicotyledons is a tap root system. Now, the cambium is absent in the monocotyledons. In the stem of the monocotyledons, there is no cambium present, while in the dicotyledons, there is a cambium, or we have cambium present in the dicotyledon. Now, the monocotyledon have vascular bundles that are scattered all over the ground tissue, while the vascular bundles in the dicotyledons are arranged in a ring of cambium. So those are the characteristics of the monocotyledon and the dicotyledon. Now, the examples of plants found under the monocotyledon include maize, palm tree, and grasses, while the examples of plants found under the dicotyledon include mango, orange, and so on and so forth. So with that, we've come to the end of another lesson. Next lesson, we'll be talking about the classification of plants based on agriculture. See you next lesson.